Let's have fun with this one. Actually, I might get complaints about this. Okay, we got to remove best of one. It's not a best of anything. All right. Ladies and gents, welcome. I'm really excited for casting this 1v1. I was just saying to the viewers here, I've still got some people to say hello to and some people to thank. But just saying to the viewers here that this is a live ranked game. And we've got Lix. Lix is such a legend, man. If you watch the 2v2 World Cup, what Lix was able to offer to his team and his teammate Yo was just incredible. Such a unique team game player. He just likes to be annoying. Just has a knack for it. And he's playing as the Mongols here in the red. And he's up against a player named saymyname, otherwise known as Yellow. This player was known as VNS Yellow for years and years, and then pretty much transitioned his name to saymyname. And this is a Vietnamese player. Now, you might say, T90, don't use Yellow on this terrain. It's hard for me to see things. I'm sorry, because I want to call him Yellow for, reasons. So, Persians versus Mongols. A matchup that is not new to our game. You would have seen this for years and years and years prior to all the expansions and whatnot. And it's a bit of an interesting one. Mongols tend to have a very strong early feudal. And then there's not an awful lot going for them bonus-wise until early, maybe mid-Imperial Age. Persians are a little more solid all around. You've got plus 50 wood and plus 50 food at the start. Your TC works a little bit faster starting in the feudal age. And from their paladins to their siege rams to their commanderon crossbows, they've got some options out there. I'd say the concern is, and this is pretty much the concern anytime you face Mongols, is as Lix is going to lane. I know pig for Yellow, at least if this is executed properly. This is the thing. You're making use of a Mongol bonus. You've got the scouting bonus, plus you hunt faster. I know some people don't like laming in rated games, but it's like, if you get Vietnamese, for example, you're going to not steal someone's resources. It's a bonus. Anywho, as Lix takes that back to his base and says, my boar now. I do think Persians have a real solid chance in the Castle Age here with their knights and their camels and their eco. So again, it's always important that Mongols get ahead. And now Yellow should have realized the boar is gone now. And as actually tried, we should see a villager shoot that. Oh, he can't shoot it. Check this out. So what happened was he was trying to make up for the fact that he lost the boar, okay? And he was pushing it in, and then it like de-aggroed or something. Actually, oh, he made a mistake. Oh my god, it was underneath his town center. What? Oh, geez, and you can't shoot it again because it'll die. So he has to go back and push more. Sorry, anyways, I just needed to see what happened there. Not exactly what I thought was going to happen. Behind this, we'll see what Lix is up to, but Lix is going to push in the ostrich, and then we're going to see, potentially man-at-arm follow-up to this. We've got 5 on wood right now from Lix. I mean, 5 on wood is even more than man-at-arms would be. I think it could even be some type of a draw shenanigans. You put more on wood, more than 4 on wood, it's sometimes to afford the barracks, but also some farms later on. What's up? Come on. Yes, I many pig for Lix, but man, I'm so excited to see Lix playing some 1v1s here. He just does not play a lot of 1v1s, and he is a really solid 1v1 player. Fat Teddy, thank you for the 20 months. He says T90 Dodger. Yes, thank you. Warts. Warts says, thank you for making my life a little bit happier. You're welcome. I'm glad I can help with that. If I was named after Warts, I would have a tough time too every now and then. I'm just kidding. 123 Bam Bam, thank you for the new sub. It looks like Yu King lived up to his word at the start of the stream. Thank you. Also, what's up, Elvinovic? So, here's the barracks for Lix. Lix is getting loom, though. So, it looks like Lix is going to click up here. And this is not going to be elongated Dark Age. Seems like it's going to be an archer build, actually. I mean, I guess it could still be man-at-arms into archers. The barracks is already up, but your typical man-at-arm build only has 2 on gold. I think Lix is just going to be loving life with how much food is in there. Now, for poor Yellow over here, Yellow hasn't even scouted the enemy. And sometimes that's the best thing. If you need to make up for that boar loss, it's real difficult. So a little bit of walling here, maybe some walling here. Not really sure what the enemy's going for. Feudal Age times will be almost identical, though. So if Yellow is able to spot this scout, then Yellow could chase that down. Dracule says, why are the big boys not streaming lately? Hello? Hi. How you doing? What type of a question is that? Oh, okay. Anyways, moving on. The militia are moving forward. Like, you know how long and how hard I've worked for the past 6 years? Also, it's very weird practice to just go up to someone else's stream and be like, oh, I wish someone else was online right now. Not that you did that. I know you didn't mean disrespect, excuse me, but holy moly. Okay, here we have the scout here from yellow. So let's see what yellow does here, because this is all damage control. And it's all about reactions. You've lost your boar, which puts you behind with the scouting. And oh, the quick walls from yellow. Man, I'm such a fan of this player. That was even before the militia were spotted there. But he saw the gold, and he figured, wait a second. He might have some militia coming if that's the case. Great reaction. As I'm looking at this tree, that's not going to be an overchop. I'm seeing some palisade walls. I mean, there's a chance that Licks could get through, but it's unlikely here as we have the stable for yellow. And, you know, there are still some economic concerns for yellow. With all the quick walling and just missing a little bit of food. It's almost like if he had an extra sheep or an extra ostrich, things would have been fine. But not really able to afford to keep... Well, actually, it looks like he's able to keep his TC and his stable working for now. And did get the eco upgrades as well, as we're going to have the farms coming out. Here comes Licks. This is very typical for following this up, because you know they're going to be making scouts. So you bring a spearman plus an archer. What that archer does is it will hit those villagers, weaken those villagers on the berries. It forces the opponent to engage against you. And I don't think the engagement's going to be too easy here for yellow, because yellow does not have the food income for the TC and also the stable. But we have an engagement, and Licks may be distracted at home. That said, the spearman and the archer arrive here just in time, and so the villager here needs to run and could easily lead to a vill kill. No, it looks like villagers will survive. Yeah, nice thing about Persians is that your TC does work faster now. But that can actually hurt you in some way, right? If your TC is working faster and you want to keep it working all the time, you're going to have less food to produce things out of that stable. So I think Licks is just loving life right now. Licks is full walling behind this. But guys, this all stems from the Mongol bonuses, from the hunt bonus and also the ability to lame with the scout bonus. And this is what Mongols need to do. If you don't lame with Mongols, or if you don't bring in a lot of hunt with Mongols, you're just a mediocre civilization in the mid-game. You know, Varian, it's funny. It might have even been worth it for yellow to idle his TC for 2 villagers, just to have 2 more scouts. Like, if that would have been the result, I think he could have engaged against this and cleared this. But in the end, he didn't lose much. He's back on berries, so, I mean... Yeah, the answer to... I mean, I'm probably wrong on that. It almost looks like yellow's just accepting Licks' style is going to be walled at home. Notice how he's not even trying to run out. And so he's waiting to see any follow-up archers to this. And Licks does have follow-up archers, but he would run right into the scout, so it's pretty wise from him to just delay. So we've got skirmishers now for yellow, and skirmishers are going to deal with everything that Licks has. So this is fine. You are going to need some repairing and some house walls if you're yellow. But yellow's done a really good job here. I mean, his eco's looking nice and smooth. He has a 1 villager lead because his TC works. What is it, 5% faster here, chat? I think it's 5% faster. Forgive me if I don't. It's been changed a few times. Originally, it was faster in Dark Age. And then they made it so it's just faster in Feudal Age. I kind of feel like Persians could use that Dark Age bonus again. You know, like, Persians were seen a lot. Maybe they were too strong then. But Persians just feel a little blah right now. Just a little bit. And that's a lot of archers with the man-at-arms, with the spearman for Licks. Overall KD is 1-0 here. And that was just that scout. As yellow's going to need to take that gold. Aaron Squeeze says, I just joined, so I might have missed it, but is Licks back in WWP? Or did he only stop playing for them in tournaments? To be honest, there's like 50 or 60 WWP members. So, I don't know, like... So, WWP stands for White Wolf Palace. And it all started when they had, like, this sponsor who was going to do this big 100K tournament. And then, as far as I know, the sponsors disappeared. So, I honestly don't even know if WWP is really a organized team right now anyways. But Lix did say after the 2v2 World Cup he didn't want to play in tournaments anymore. But him having that, I don't think really signifies if he's going to or if he's not going to. So, this is a little risky here for Lix. I mean, he's moved out with archers when the enemy has skirms. And what he probably wasn't expecting was to see so many skirms and so many upgrades on the skirms. The armor's in on them, plus the attack's in on them. So these archers are going to have to scramble home. And Lix expecting that actually did make some of his own scouts, which is a really good addition, but doesn't look like this is going to be the most comfortable starts for Lix, as he needs to back away with his archers for now and wait for an extra scout or two. But I really like the addition. He's even going for forging now, and this is going to come as a surprise. And look at that. The skirmishers have to back all the way back. And Yellow was thinking, oh, well, I'm going to go Castle Age now. I'm going to be good. I've defended from the archers, but surprise, surprise, buddy. The scouts were perfectly timed, but also the tower was perfectly timed. We might still see a villager go down here. I'd expect 1, maybe 2 villagers to go down, but with the tower up, that means that Lix will need to back away. And the scouts getting forging but not armor means that they're not going to be able to sit underneath the tower quite as easily.
Exactly what I needed after a busy week. Some T90 casting less than 3.
So yeah, I mean, first off, that mining camp is just really bad. I think it needs to be over here. The mining camp's bothering me for Yellow, but Yellow's going to be okay to defend and get into Knights. Lix's eco, though, looking real smooth. We're going to see Lix and Yellow have similar Castle Age times. The faster working TC and Feudal Age does mean that they advance faster to the next age, too, just ever so slightly. So, nice thing to remind people about with Persians.
Where every civ can only be used once
and we'll see.
Throughout the entire tournament be fun/workable?
Sabosi, I think that was utilized in the past, but people weren't, it wasn't real practical. Sabosi says, would a tournament where every civ can only be used once per player throughout the entire tournament fun or workable? Yeah, it was used in the past. The problem then is, the brackets are already a point of conversation, and then it becomes, oh, so-and-so had an easier bracket, so so-and-so could use weaker civs to beat their players. Does that make sense? So it is somewhat interesting, but in instances I remember, it ended up being a problem. And then it led to later stages of the bracket, some players having better civs than the other when they're pretty evenly matched. So, what's up, Lone Wolf? Lone Wolf, there might be another 2v2 World Cup this year. We'll see. Things are very busy. Very busy right now for me and also Age of Empires. All right, so we've got this palisade wall, which is halfway down. It's real sneaky from Lix to attack the wall. And look, he knows that these skirmishers want to come out here, but he has the scout waiting, which is so funny. But there are also 2 spearmen, and Lix with a bit of mistakes with the micro, and now the archers go down. So that's when you try and be too clever, and then you regret it. And we're going to see 2 stables from Yellow, who's going to send 3 to stone now, just to make up for the stone that was spent in the tower. Yellow doesn't have that much on wood right now, which is a little concerning. Like, that's a crazy eco. 13 on gold, 21 on food. Certainly set up to make knights and camels. But the setup to boom, not so much. You got to think of the farms needing reseeded. I think Yellow's going to have some farms that aren't reseeded, and Yellow's going to need to send more to wood as we even see a monastery opening. Abala, I don't know when the next Force Nothing game is, but that someone actually is hosting a Force Nothing tournament. I don't know how serious it's going to be taken, and I don't know how many signups it's going to have. I have to look into the time frame of it, but the thing is, I don't think it has a prize pool, so I don't think big names will sign up. But if the time frame fits what I want to do, and I review the settings, I might actually put some money up for the prize pool, just to see if some other names will sign up for it. Okay, so this is the situation we're in. Lix wants to get early damage, and then knows that map control is going to be lost here, right? So Lix kills a vill and adds the TC. So Lix wants to kill villagers and gain a villager lead. Getting the wood and the farm upgrade now for Lix. Lix is also adding... I'm a little confused, actually, because we have 1 cav archer. I don't know if we're going to see a switch to cav archers, but we've got some camels, some crossbows, and also a monk is on the way here. So anything to just kind of push this away for now. You'll see Yellow has more villagers on wood, but some of those farms expired, like I had said. Not the biggest deal. This is a pretty close game. You know, one player did have to add a tower. One player's been on the back foot for most of the game. But I think around 30 minutes, Persians are just a stronger civ. Their eco is always looking hotter. And plus, your knights and camels that you're making with Persians, you can streamline that into stronger Imperial Age units with Cavalier and Camel. Because you get full upgrades on those. Whereas you do not get final armor on your Cav if you're Mongols. So going heavy Camel and Cavalier just never feels quite the move. Plus, right now, since you've got crossbows, Persian knights do +2 attack versus archers. So, what's up, CHK? But yes. The people asking what this Elo is, if you don't know these players, holy moly, I've got some games to recommend to you. These guys are 2K3. These guys are top 50. Yeah, and Lix barely plays 1v1s. So, look at Lix now. He's going for the 3rd TC. And he's already on stone. So, his mindset is hold the map control. And this is so important because I feel like the balance has to be there. If you just try and get the castle up, but you don't have control, the enemy's already knocking at your door and you're already taking losses, right? Oh, that's a real weird spot for Lix to put his army as he backs away. And I just don't think the Lix has the strongest force here. If both players are getting conversions, I think the Knights after armor can win that. But the conversions always make you think twice about it. The hill bonus always makes you think twice. Close game, 54 villagers versus 52. I mean, it's 74 population versus 70 right now. But yellow is definitely about to make his move up this hill. We're seeing husbandry now, so these units can run a little faster. These crossbows separated themselves from the group. They're going to melt. And, oh, this could hurt, though. It looks like Lix could get 2 conversions, and there's going to be 0 for yellow. But I still think yellow will fight this. And yellow would just be upset with the fact that the knights were donated to the enemy there. Lix has to back away. Lix loses the monks. And as I said, the knights are they're upgraded. Plus they have the extra attack versus archers. So you look at the camels, they only have forging and bloodlines. That's the only upgrade. So best case scenario here for Lix, I think, because he has the hill. I really think saymyname should be forcing that fight. Okay, so you've got yellow with the 2nd TC, some on stone as well, so maybe a forward castle on the cards. And then we have another TC on stone. So, wow. Yellow, I think, maybe with too much on stone for now. It's not like you want to make elephants with Persians. I mean, that'd be cool, but... And yellow, I think it's a mindset problem here, too, where you're just reacting, because the enemy's been so aggressive. Oh, no way. Okay, yellow realizes this is a possibility. He knows the army's coming around. He's going to try and defend this. I don't know if that's possible. The knights are looping around, and the villagers have to run. Oh, man, Lix is going to be loving life as we see the 4th town center up at home. Now, all of this stems from, and I'd like to hammer this home, it stems from Lix's aggression in the Dark Age. He was able to get ahead in early feudal because of his aggression in the Dark Age. The laming, the man-at-arm rush, all that stuff, all the follow-up has been good. And now Lix is like, well, I'm definitely going to lose this army, so let me try and kill some villagers. And I think that's the best thing. I mean, it's not like you're going to kill many knights here. So now you just have to brace yourself and defend from the counterattack. That is definitely coming to your base. Where's the castle going to go, Lix? Surely you've got to place the castle, right? You've got the stone for it. Okay, I see villagers getting pulled. How defensive is this castle going to be? You almost want it at the front of your base. Yeah, there it is. And what I would like to see is maybe taking out the palisade walls if you're yellow. He's just now coming forward. To give you guys some perspective, by the way, on yellow's level. Granted, Lix didn't sign up for the tournament, but there's a tournament going on right now called Visible Cup. And it's for the players who are not the 16 who played in Hidden Cup, right? And I don't know when it is. And don't spoil it if it already happened. I've been keeping an eye on things. But yellow is in the semifinals of Visible Cup. So, like, he's arguably 20th in the world. At the very least, right? Based on that and that tournament. Lix, again, getting a conversion. And Lix is starting to make those manga die. And it begins to get more and more difficult against Mongols if they have that castle up. These cav archers are just buying time, but I don't know if these knights can do too much. The thing now is, as well, you've been producing knights, which cost food and gold. So you're unlikely to be able to go Imperial Age as fast as the guy who didn't create as many of those units. They're just going for archers now. The yellow style also used to be very different from how he plays now. He tends to go for a lot of... It used to go for a lot of towers. It's funny. You look at that KD and you think, wow, yellow's winning this. You look at the eco, you think, wow, the military, wow, yellow's winning this. But not against Mongols. Not against Mongols if they're on the way to imp with Mangadai. And that's exactly what Lix can say right now. Oh, wow. There's a... What? There's a hole there? Okay, well, that every little bit helps here. That's going to distract Lix. Some villagers go down. Lix does have 3 relics, though. I mean, granted, the monastery is very far forward, but that's such a big deal here. Ballistics is already in. Mangadai just gets stronger and stronger as the game progresses. And even if an extra villager or 2 die here, I don't think the disappointment level is going to be too high. This castle will go up, which will help out a lot against these knights, so the knights are doomed. And the knights on this side tried to swoop in, but was not to be. All right. So now we're going to see the attempts to kill the Mongols, which all revolves around having a lot of army early imp and then going into Trebs. T90, will you cast AoE4 beta? If I wanted to get in trouble with Microsoft, yes. If I want to obey the rules of a beta, which means you cannot talk about, stream, record, or do anything with a beta, then I would probably say no. So I'll let you decide on what I will feel about that, my friend. The amount of people asking why no one's streaming the beta is pretty damn high. Like, there's got to be some people who have access to it who are not obeying the rules. If there's people asking these questions, less people are joking. I don't know. Well, that was a crazy raid. What was that? 4 villagers dead to a Mangadai and a knight? Didn't expect that one. So yeah, the first thing you've got to click if you're yellow, which will be in 50 seconds, is going to be Cavalier and then Armor. And then you have to start making Trebs. But Mangadai, they're the ultimate hit and run unit. And there's 3 castles, or will be 3 castles for Lix. This is going to be tough for yellow. Because you can't really push forward with Siege against Mongols all that well if they have Mangadai. Because Mangadai have a bonus against Siege. So they'll shred your Siege. And if it's Elite Mangadai with full upgrades, they're going to shred your units as well. Also, Eberk, hello. Salutes in chat, please, for Eberk. Nice to see you. I saw you elsewhere in the community recently. Nice to have you back. Thanks for 43. Hope all is good. Okay, these units will need upgrades, but Cavalier and Armor take so much longer than the upgrades on the other side of things like Bracer. Bracer takes like 30, 40 seconds. Cavalier takes 2 or 3 times as long. These Mangadai aren't elite yet, but the thing is, you don't even need to worry about pushing the enemy castles when you're Mongols. You just do your thing and use your castles to get production of Mangadai. What's my drink today? Water. Water and coffee. It is 1:30 on a Saturday. I mean, you know, I'm not going to sit here and act like I wouldn't drink at 1:30 on a Saturday, but not while I'm streaming. Sorry. Not while I'm streaming. That's funny. Yellow really wanted to build a castle there, and that was blocked, and so Yellow's going to place a castle right next to it. And it looks like Yellow's castle will go up. That's a real good spot. Lix was on this gold, and Lix was on this stone. So that's going to get denied. Another monk goes down here. What? Lix didn't have bloodlines the whole time? Okay, so I think he's about to have fully upgraded Mangadai. I think he does now, actually. The only thing I can't see is if he has Thumbring or not. But you have to imagine he is Thumbring. Now watch what these units can do. Okay, villagers, of course, were expected to die. But just look at the confidence. Armor's not in yet, so these units get 2-shotted. Or 1-shotted. It's probably 2-shotted, realistically. But there will, of course, be more Mangadai on the way. And hit and run, hit and run, hit and run. Okay, not a whole lot of running there for Lix. As maybe Lix needs to be careful. And, you know, Lix does need to be a little worried about the positioning from Yellow now. Yellow does have a lot of the southern corner. Yellow has this area controlled. I mean, Yellow does not have an answer for the castles yet. But if yellow expands across the whole map and continues to take pretty good fights, you never know. So Lick's losing access to those relics. If yellow can snipe those relics or take those relics, that'd be huge. Speaking of snipes, though, that's going to be a treb down. That's what I mean about Megadai. Like, how on earth are you going to push these castles? You need to have enough paladins on the way from yellow. What? I think this should be considered a comeback, right? The fact that yellow is even still alive right now is nuts to me. I would have died so hard. But yeah, so you need enough paladins to force the Megadai back and use the fact that Megadai hit and run against them. So you go forward with 4 or 5 trebs, you push back the Megadai so they have to run away, and then you push those castles. They are elite Megadai with full upgrades, yes. But I think we're going to see heavy camel. I'm actually wrong on that. We're seeing Hussar instead. But there's an argument to be made to maybe go heavy camel with the Megadai. I think the reason you wouldn't want to do that is simply because it's a lot of gold you're investing. Now he doesn't even have the relics. Oh, God. It could be a down castle. I think with any other unit, that castle could go up. But considering it's elite Megadai, I think the castle would have been denied. So Vil count gets evened out at 116 apiece. It's 150 pop for both right now. This is a crazy game. Keep in mind, yellow's about to have Paladin. And he does have the extra gold right now. Megadai are also kind of out of position, though there's going to be more of them. And it looks like Lix is really thinking about pushing that castle in the middle. Paladin be in 30 seconds, but I think you could still justify taking this fight simply because it's going to kick in the middle of the fight, and the Megadai are unable to reinforce. If they run to the north, they run into a castle. If they run this way, they run into a town center. Okay, Paladin will be in, but I don't know if you need your if you want your Paladins in the back of your base right now. And there's Megadai. Oh, God, that's one way to get your opponent to lack production. Sit between the stables, and they had to be deleted there. Here we had Paladins run into the gold from yellow. That's good. And here comes that push from Lix. Now, I say push. He's actually going to run past just passing with the Hussars. These freaking Megadai. I think you now have to split up your Paladins and send them some this side. They're going to sit in that one tile gap. This is so annoying when you're playing this game. Like, you can't engage against 25 units that stack onto 3 tiles. It's 19 units, by the way. I was guesstimating. I like the idea of raiding. There's no real raid cleanup tool right now for yellow. But yellow keeping an eye on this gold right now. Uh-oh. We've got 3 trebs for Lix. He's not trickle trebbing. He's coming out with 3. He's forcing an immediate reaction. It means all those paladins have to come over. These Megadai are going to survive. They'll kill those villagers. The Hussars are in here killing villagers. Lix is looking like he's in a good spot. He's going to send Hussars in underneath the castle. Take out the repair villagers. And where are the paladins? Here they come for yellow, but... And he doesn't have the relics. I think Lix is going to get these. Megadai Hussar is just so tough to stop. Yellow's only making paladin. And I think yellow's going to be too late to save this castle. If it was 2 trebs, that castle's saved. But because it's 3, it's not. As the paladins run in. And even if the trebs are lost, I think that's more than worth it for Lix. Who is the Megadai now into yellow's eco. And that could be it. I know yellow has 180 pop. But you just begin to feel you don't have relics. You're not doing a lot of damage to the enemy. And they're just all over you. You begin to feel like it's going to be tough. But what a game, though. I mean, this is seriously a good game. I actually thought that yellow would... I didn't think that yellow had much of a chance, truthfully, when I saw Lix had the 4 castles. He gave himself such a good opportunity. I really think Lix running through yellow's base with the Megadai and getting away with them is what decided it. Because the paladins were out of position, and then the paladins had to leave this group, and now they have there's consequences to that. We'll see, though. Yellow does have more villagers. Just, it's getting increasingly difficult to engage against Megadai. These Megadai are still going to run away. And we have another castle on the same hill. I mean, it's an important hill, people. How can you judge the man? So that I think that might get denied by the Hussars, and then the Megadai are following up, so... Great game. Look at all the buildings Lix has on the minimap and how condensed it is. You've got 4 castles, and then... 5 TCs, but it's all in one spot. He's not trying to expand to the corners. He's like, whatever. As long as I keep everything in one spot, there's no way you can push that. But there's still a villager there. It's going to finish the castle. You've got to be kidding me. I think if the relic situation was different, I would think that there was a possibility for yellow. But I still... Okay, type a 1 in chat if you thought yellow was dead 10 minutes ago, and then if you thought yellow was dead 1 minute ago, and he continues to surprise you. This dude's insane. And now we've got paladins coming over here. We now have hussars that are coming out of these stables. He's going to hit the exposed areas of Lix's eco. And it seems like he's going to start to use the fact that Lix has just one big ball against him. Because Lix can't have that ball in different areas of the map. Remember, yellow still has this gold to take, and there's this gold right now that I think yellow's going to have to send some units to. Those are the neutral golds. As the paladins have done some real damage over here. Here's relic number 4. Relic number 5 is actually in Lix's corner right here. Yeah, I can't see that one for some reason. But the thing is, how many paladins are you going to lose every time you go in for raids? Like, how many can you afford to make? You really need to raid and then get those castles down somehow. I just don't see how you get these castles down. It's going to be so difficult. And Lix having 3 relics, even if yellow got 2, Lix is going to have the longer gold. The gold's going to last longer. Cheeky paladin right in here to kill the gold villagers, though. Would skirms work? Skirms against Mangadai. The problem is Persian skirmishers are not that good. But the bigger issue with going skirms against Mangadai is Mongols can just add hussars with 117 HP or whatever it is. So, like, trash units. Truthfully, the best way to stop Mangadai is to hit them before they get to Mangadai. I think it'd be really, really difficult for you if you made skirmishers here. So, yeah, to answer my question, I think you kind of have to try it, but I don't think it's going to be good for you. Now, what you could do is research Commanderon, and then your crossbows only cost wood. And then at least your crossbows are doing a better job against the hussars. I love how yellow's producing out of these stables constantly. I love his focus on switching sides here. I think what he's going to do... Maybe he should have left some hussars here, but I think he's going to try and loop around back here. And look at that! Lix noticed it! Lix saw the units were going that way, and he immediately thought the same thing I did. So he starts to add some house walls. Yeah, and he's going to chase this down now with the Mangadai. It's 72 army, though. 75 army now for Lix. 80 army for Lix. I just don't see how you can compete with that. It's more army, but it's better army. And at this stage, the fact that Persian TCs work faster is not really a big deal. Yellow actually has 156 villagers, which is why his population's so high. I just do not see how you can win this game. At this stage. It took a while. Don't see it being possible for yellow. What a boomer, though. I guess what you do is you just boom up on 157 vills. And then you just send every group in to die. You just sacrifice their lives, right? For the next 10 minutes. Hope that you damage their eco enough. And hope that you're able to stop yourself from dying. Because Lix really isn't making trebs right now. He's not trying to push these castles. He's probably really confident because Mangadai are insane. But you've got to be careful if the raids continue to hit you like this. So I think if the enemy's raiding with Paladin, you're going to be happy because you know they're going to run out of gold. How about Halbs and Paladins? It would be hard to micro them at the same time. No, I think Halbs die even harder. Like, at least crossbows and skirmishers do some damage to Mangadai. Halbs wouldn't even get in close. 80 farms for yellow, though. Like, this player's nuts. I love the castle positions. The castle positions have kept yellow alive. They're all perfectly placed. The problem is the Mangadai could still dive in. But do you want to be underneath town centers and towers? Do you want to be in the back of the enemy base with Mangadai? I feel like someone with 75 farms, granted, that number's going to go down if these Mangadai make through here. They might not be too upset with you being in the back of their base. The KD is not going to be pretty at all. And it's getting worse and worse for yellow. But at least the Mangadai could be killed. Seems like Lix is trying to sort out this area, though. Has just killed 20 or so villagers over the last few minutes. It really just needs siege now. If Lix had siege follow-up, I think Lix could push those castles. Everything dies to the Mangadai. And yellow's farm count is plummeting. His population is plummeted. It's 60 army for Lix. It's 20 army for yellow. I mean, still heck of a game. And look at this. Sending a Hussar in just to take him off of gold. The right things are happening, but we're going to see Siege Ram soon. Drill is even coming in for Licks. So that means the Mongol siege works faster. Mongols in post-imp are just insane. I think it is still the best post-imp civ in 1v1s. If you think, and when I say post-imp, that means with all your technologies researched. I think Mongols would be considered the best with Hussar, Mangudai, Siege-Ram. Maybe there's other names that come to mind. And I'm sure there's going to be other civs that come to mind, but certainly one of the best. Byzantines. Ha! Byzantines! Make as many skirmishers as you want. There's gonna be 30 Hussars in front of 50 Mangudai in there. I feel like Byzantines would struggle big time. But Goths, maybe. Mongols still have champion. Mangudai don't do too bad against Goths. Plus they have the fast heavy scorpions, but doesn't really matter. What a game. That was such a good one. Like, I think that like as a 2K1, 2K2 player, if I was up against Licks in Yellow's position, I would have died at the 40-minute mark. Right? Like, I see these castles. I would have never been able to put up that much of a fight and switch focus like that to hit the different sides. He had opportunities. But ultimately, he wasn't able to push the castles, which is the big thing you have to do. And I think, and I have to almost go back to it. I forget what time of the game it was exactly. But I think what was really important for Licks. Do you remember that one army that got into Yellow's base and then it died? It was right around here. Let's see. I think it didn't happen yet. This. Okay, so this is the stage of the game where Licks is looking to get up castles, and I know it feels weird to throw your army, but that's not army you care about anyways. Camels and cav archers are useless long term. Sorry to the camels and cav archers in chat, but what this did is it kept upgraded knights away from his base so he could fortify his base with the castles. And then as the game progressed, it was exactly the situation he wanted. He actually did it again here. He's like, okay, I'm going to distract him, send in cav archers, make him deal with that. You see that? Just buying time, castles on the way up, more on stone, another castle goes up. Kind of unique, though. You normally don't want to toss away army for time like that, but I think in that situation it made sense. More wood, more gold for Licks. These stats don't surprise me, especially because Licks had relics, and the KD would have got worse and worse for Yellow if the game continued, but Licks still winning with a 1.18 KD, excuse me, and there's the APM if you had any interest. Those players are moving a mile a minute there. GG. T90 thinks he would have made it 40 minutes. XD. Get out of here, Lunar. I've beaten both of these players. Granted, I probably have like a 15 or 20% win rate against them. Oh, man. Yellow and I have history. Yellow and I have known each other for years. I remember I told him, I told him that my viewers were saying my name when I said, say my name. And his response was, LOLZ. LOLZ. What he said. LOLZ, lowercase. LOLZ. And then we started the game. And that was it. That was the conversation. I really thought he'd feel bad, you know? But he didn't seem to care. I thought he'd be like, oh, sorry, I'll change my name back to Yellow for you. Yeah.